to have this meeting ongoing, and we kind of changed the format. It used to just be a meeting. I would talk for a little while about whatever, and then recently we've changed it to kind of a, not a step study, but we go through the steps so that there's kind of a focus for the meeting each week as a to keep it focused on recovery, on what am I doing today in my life today to recover from the disease of alcoholism. So it's every like 12 weeks we start over, every 13 or 14 weeks we start over again and go back to the basics, back to the beginning of Alcoholics Anonymous as a way of life. What it said in that reading, Alcoholics Anonymous 12 steps are a group of principles, spiritual in their nature, which if practiced as a way of life can expel my obsession to drink and enable me to become happily and usefully whole. And that's all I ever wanted, to be happily and usefully whole. That sounds pretty good as a goal in life. But I have alcoholism. You know, I've never met a normal person out there. I've never met anyone that didn't have something. Everybody's got something, but I have alcoholism. I have a disease. It's a disease that centers in my mind. We talked a lot about alcoholism last week. And before I get into the steps, I have to know what I'm here for. Why am I here? What am I treating? Why do I come to Alcoholics Anonymous? And I thought I came here to not drink. I thought AA was a way you go to meetings and you work these 12 steps and you just don't drink for the rest of your life. And then somehow, because you're not drinking, all of a sudden now I'm going to make better decisions and I'm going to have better relationships and I'm going to be able to make more money and I'm going to treat people better because I'm not drinking. And that is true right away. That happens. When I stopped drinking, I did start, I wasn't drunk. I wasn't having drunken behavior. I wasn't as belligerent and mean and sarcastic and crazy as I was when I was drinking. And so that helped with relationships for a little while. And I was able to show up for work every day. So that helped with work. And everyone was kind of proud that I was not drinking and they were patting me on the back. So I liked them. And I was getting accolades and that felt good. And I wasn't drinking. So immediately my life did get better not drinking. But over time, the character that I am resurfaced. After the excitement of not drinking wore off, which some people call the pink cloud, and the surrender that happened to me by being crushed by alcohol, that surrendered feeling, that surrendered attitude wears off, and all of a sudden I'm at a year and a half of sobriety, and I'm thinking, hey, it's good, but it's not that good. And I should be further ahead than I am right now. And I should have more than I have right now. And I think I should exchange my girlfriend for a better one. And I think I could have a better job now because I'm not drinking. And all the years that I wasted, I should be making more money and blah, 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 blah. My mind starts talking to me. And it talks to me with authority. And it talks to me in my own voice. And so I believe everything that it says. But the steps tell me that glass in hand, I warped my mind. So I have a warped mind. There's something wrong with me. And it's not the alcohol. There's only one word in the whole big book that I would change. One word. I know everybody would change something, but it says, remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Well, I think it should say, remember that we deal with alcoholism, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Because alcohol sits in a bottle. It does nothing. It's my mind that tells me that what is in that bottle will help me today. It's my mind that tells me that I need some medicine so that I can be okay in the day that I'm in. It's not the alcohol. The alcohol is not cunning, baffling, and powerful. It doesn't jump out of the bottle and jump down my throat by itself. I'm the problem. The problem is in me. And the problem is that I have this mind that's restless, irritable, and discontent. And I'm restless, irritable, and discontent because my mind has a disease in it. And the disease keeps me constantly unsatisfied. This feeling of unsatisfied. My mind is fault-finding and opinionated. and I believe my opinions. And I believe that because they're my opinions, and I told them that I talk to myself in my voice, that I believe whatever my opinions are to be true, and I'm willing to fight to the death to be right as an alcoholic with alcoholism. The other part of alcoholism, and we talked a lot about that last week, but the other part of this alcoholism is that I have an infantile ego. I have this little baby ego that's driving this grown man. And that ego is always in a hurry. And it's easily frustrated. And it can't stand the word no. And it can't stand the word no because that ego thinks that it is the king. And that everybody should do what I want. And it says it in the book. If everyone would do as I wished, the show would be great. Everybody would be pleased, including me. Life would be wonderful. That's me being the actor or the king trying to run the whole kingdom. But what usually happens is the show doesn't come off the way I want because everybody doesn't do what I want. Everyone has their own agenda. And then I become restless, irritable, and discontent. I become angry, indignant, and self-pitying. And so Dr. Tebow, he's a guy that he's written about in the back of the big book. He studied alcoholics when he was a drug and alcohol guy back before the big book was written. And when the big book was written, he got a copy of it. He's one of the medical guys that Bill sent the book to get their opinion. And he had some patients that couldn't get sober that were chronic alcoholics. And he let one of those patients read the manuscript for the big book, and she got sober. And she went down to AA and to New York, and she got sober. And Harry Tebow got interested in us, and he started studying us. He's the one who came up with the defiant, what is it? It's that we're childish and defiant. That's the number one characteristic of alcoholics. So he says this. He says about the ego. A person that has an inflated ego, like an alcoholic, has these characteristics. They're pompous, self-important, strutting individual whose inferiorities are masked by a surface assurance. Such a person appears thick-skinned, insensitive, nearly impervious to the existence of others, a completely self-centered individual who plows unthinkingly through life, intent on gathering unto myself all the comforts and satisfactions available. I am generally considered the epitome of selfishness, and there the matter rests. That's how he describes an alcoholic with an infantile ego. And then on another page, he has some other words that describe me. This is for me. If you don't relate to this, I understand. And that's perfectly okay. I hope you don't have this. Besides egotistical in the series of words mentioned earlier, adjectives that help round out the portrait of the egotistical person are prideful, arrogant, pushing, dominating, attention-seeking, aggressive, opinionated, headstrong, stubborn, determined, and impatient. Oh, man, that pretty much sums up my life on a daily basis. So I have to know what's wrong with me. I have to know why I'm here. I can never, ever drink alcohol again. I'm alcoholic. That means that my body has become allergic to alcohol. When I drink alcohol, crazy things happen. I black out. I go places I don't even know I'm going. I crash cars. I trash relationships. I can't keep jobs. I don't show up. I just black out. I don't even know what the hell my body's doing until somebody tells me. So I'm allergic to alcohol. But alcohol isn't what's wrong with me. Alcohol was the solution to my problem. What's wrong with me is this mind-powered disease. And so now I go back into the steps as a way of life to treat that mind. And so in the first step, it says, who cares to admit complete defeat? And I have to look at that for my life. Do I care to admit complete defeat? Can I do that? And I can't. I can't because I'm not drinking. I haven't drank for years. And so I think I'm doing better. I think I'm okay. And the book says, it says it just like this: who cares to admit complete defeat? Then it answers the question: practically no one, of course. Every natural instinct in me cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. Everything in me says, no way. You're not a complete defeat. You're just having alcohol defeat. You just need to not drink and read some self-help books and get your act together, and then you'll be okay. But I've read the self-help books. I've tried my hardest to be the kind of person I want to be, and on my own power, I can't do it. We also read about that, right? I've had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but on my own power, I can't live up to them no matter how much I try or how much I wish I could. I can't. And then it says I have to have God's help. And that's what the rest of this program is about. It's about finding a power greater than myself that can help me with my problem. And my problem isn't alcohol. My problem is my mind. So when it says, who cares to admit complete defeat? I can admit complete defeat, that today, in my life today, that I can't do any of the things that I need to do and be at peace because my mind won't let me. I can drive my car, but while I'm driving my car, my mind is finding fault with all the other drivers and the bicycles and everyone walking in the crosswalks. And that's just if I'm concentrating on driving, because I can also be driving my car and hating my job and hating my life and finding fault with my wife or my kid or my job. And I can be doing that and hating the people that are driving in front of me at the same time. So what I'm a complete defeat at is being okay in the moment that I'm in, doing whatever it is I'm doing, because my mind goes wherever it wants to go. And I can admit that today. And when I can admit that, I'm on the path. Now I'm in the spiritual principles. That's the very first principle, admitting complete defeat. That on my own power, I can't live to good purpose with my mind. I can get stuff done. My life has become unmanageable. The life that's become unmanageable is my outside life is manageable. I can go to work. I can have a family. I can pay my bills. But inside, it's unmanageable. When I'm paying those bills, I think I'm going broke. And I have pictures of me being old and alone and sick and all by myself. And then I think, what's the use? I shouldn't pay these bills. I should just keep this money. Let them come find me. So that's what's going on. That's what I'm a complete defeat at. And it says this. It says we know. It says we, but I read it in the I. I know that little good can come to any alcoholic who joins AA unless I first accept my devastating weakness and all of its consequences. My devastating weakness is not alcohol. My devastating weakness is my mind. I cannot use my mind to good purpose. And it tells me that in the second step says that I'm going to come to believe that there's a power and that power is greater than me and that power is the power that's going to restore me to sanity. I'm not going to do the job. I'm not going to read the right book. I'm not going to go to the right meeting and hear the right speaker and now have all the answers for my life. In how it works, it says I have to let go of my old ideas absolutely, or the result is nil. Well, what are my old ideas? For me, my old ideas are everything that's happened up until this moment right now. Everything I know, everything I've learned, everything is an old idea, even AA. And right now in this moment, if I could let go of all of my old ideas, I might be able to have an open mind, a mind free of self, a mind with no preconceived ideas where I could get some guidance from a higher power and be restored to sanity and intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle me. All of this is a way of life. It's 12 steps practicing those principles in these 12 steps as a way of life that enables me to become happily and usefully whole in the day that I'm in right now. And so we're in step one, and step one doesn't talk about a power. Step one is still all about the disease. But right now, I need some recovery in my life right now. So right now is the only moment I can reach out to my higher power. And I can say, power, could you help me? Could you be with me? Could you help me be here in this room? Could you help me hear what's being said? Could you help me be the man that you want me to be? And I can start building that relationship right now with something other than myself. Because if my devastating weakness is my mind and all of its consequences is the pain and the problems that I create all over my life because I'm running around unsatisfied and fault finding and opinionated, and I'm always in a hurry and everything and everybody frustrates me, I'm going to need something. I'm going to need some help with my mind. And I don't need it later. I don't need it later. I need it right now. Because if I'm not doing this right now as a way of life right now, I'm never doing it. Right here, right now, this is the only moment I can have a relationship with my higher power. Right here, right now. So, power, could you help me? Could you be with me? There's so much more to talk about in the first step. That's why it's so hard to do this in 20 minutes to do a step and then move on next week to the next step. We can do it, but it's not about learning steps. It's not about learning anything. This whole thing is about finding a power that can restore me to sanity right now. So reading isn't the answer. Meetings isn't the answer. Meetings help. Reading helps. But I need to have a relationship right now. And that relationship is what heals my mind and makes me okay in the moment that I'm in right now. So that's enough out of me. I could go on for days about step one. But I want to hear what you have to say about step one. So I want to hear about your experience with your devastating weakness and being aware of your devastating weakness. And if you do still think alcohol is your problem, talk about that. And if you're past the alcohol part and your problem is how to live usefully and whole, happily and usefully whole in the day that you're in, talk about that. And if you have experience with admitting complete defeat and the peace and comfort that comes with that, talk about that. So we can all go deeper in recovery today, right here, right now. Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks, man. Yeah, great. Right. So now we're going to have this time to share a fact. If you'd like to share, please come and sit up on this stool facing the see and hear you. And please limit your sharing to 4 minutes. If you go over this, I'll indicate with a paper to remind you to gently wind up what you're saying. Please keep in mind that this meeting was not created to have just another meeting, but to create an atmosphere